Hello everybody! This is a compilation of some key short forms posted on the channel over the past few months. This video is split in 6 different categories to make it easier for you to watch: mining machines, mining news, mining operations, power plants, the story of, and this year's Bauma. You'll find the timestamps right here. You guys enjoy. This is the biggest excavator in the world. You won't find a larger excavator than the Bagger 293, commissioned in Germany's coalfields since 1995. Absolutely insane in size, the massive machine was also built at an insane cost estimated at $100 million US. Holding the Guinness World Record for the tallest terrestrial vehicle, the 293 is 96 meters tall, 225 meters long, and weighs 14,200 tons, which translates to a staggering 31.3 million pounds. The bucket wheel itself is over 21 meters or 70 feet in diameter, with 18 buckets each holding over 15 cubic meters of material. In one day of operation, the Bagger 293 can move up to 220,000 tons of material. Powered by an external power source providing 16.56 megawatts, the 293 requires a crew of 5 workers, which doesn't sound like a lot for a machine of this size, right? So who got a chance to see the Bagger in person? Let me know in the comments. Describe Caterpillar's brand new shovel in just one word, okay? Officially unveiled during Bauma in Germany a few weeks ago, the Caterpillar 395 in front shovel configuration is about to hit the market. Superb-looking machine, this brand new piece of iron is no exception to the proven Cat legacy. Naturally sitting on a 395 frame with a slightly elevated cab, Caterpillar's new shovel's designed for quarry jobs and comes powered by a 542 horsepower engine. It weighs 212,000 pounds, or 96 metric tons. As described by Caterpillar, the 395 front shovel was engineered with a parallelogram-type front linkage and master cylinder, which technically allows the operator to easily maximize machine capability by keeping the bucket parallel to the ground. Capable of handling up to 6.5 cubic meters of material, the brand new Caterpillar 395 retains key elements of the classic shovel design, notably those seen in earlier but long-gone models like the 5080 and 5090. Did you know that, on March 15, 2004, Hitachi officially announced the completion of the biggest excavator ever produced by the machinery brand? This machine was the 800-ton ultra-size EX8000 model, one of the biggest hydraulic excavators ever. With an operating weight estimated at 780 tons, the EX8000 monster exceeded the operating weight and loading shovel bucket capacity of the EX5500 by 270 tons and 13 cubic meters, respectively. A massive difference. Developed as a response to the growing size of dump trucks designed to reduce costs at mines, the first EX8000 prototype was shipped to Canada for intense field testing from October 2004. The giant excavator entered full production shortly after. When the EX8000 came out 21 years ago, Hitachi had already sold over 600 units of their mining excavators, a lineup made of 4 models ranging from the EX1900 to the EX5500. And this was your minute of mining history. You won't look at Liebherr mining machines the same way after watching this. If you place an order for a mining excavator like the 9600 or the 9800 today, in 2025, then you can only expect to take delivery of your machine in the next 2 to 3 years. That's how booked up the brand currently is. What many don't know is that the huge hydraulic cylinders you see on Komatsu's largest excavators and shovels like the PC7000 for example, are actually purchased from Liebherr. Proof you can be competitors and still deal together nicely, right? Released a few years ago, Liebherr's bucket filling assistant enables operators to control the entire bucket filling cycle with just one hand. The system's anti-stalling function prevents the bucket from getting stuck in the digging face, ensuring a smooth and efficient loading process. Each trackpad on the brand's largest offering, the 9800, weighs the same as a Fiat 500 car. Once disassembled, it takes 25 oversized trucks to transport every component to the mine site, where it will operate for at least 80,000 hours. So what's the difference between Caterpillar and these Chinese brands? No doubt you've seen a Sany or Liugong machine before, right? They continue to grow in popularity, not just in the United States, but worldwide. But how does a Caterpillar machine compare to these Chinese-made alternatives these days? One of the biggest differences lies in engineering quality. Caterpillar invests millions of dollars in research and development, pushing innovation and performance forward. In contrast, Chinese manufacturers tend to focus on replicating existing designs, bringing little to no advancements in engineering standards. Far ahead in automation and fleet management systems, Caterpillar also delivers superior hydraulic performance and fuel efficiency. Chinese machines are often designed with cost-conscious buyers in mind, prioritizing affordability over advanced technology. Another major difference is resale value. While Caterpillar machines retain their worth thanks to strong demand and a trusted reputation, Chinese models typically depreciate much faster due to their lower brand prestige and shorter lifespan. But how long will that gap last? So how much would you pay for this old Caterpillar water truck? If you drove down 460 between Bluefield and Princeton, West Virginia the past few months, you probably noticed this sexy-looking 773B sitting right next to a D11N dozer that I recently covered in a different video. So how much for this truck? Sold by Ritchie Equipment out of Bluefield, not to be confused with Ritchie Brothers Auctioneers, this Cat 773B water truck comes with 38,820 hours and has been serviced. It's labeled as work ready by the seller. The Dolphin water tank holds up to 10,000 gallons of water and features 2 rear sprays, 2 side sprays, rear camera, front water cannon, and a retractable wash hose in the rear. Now that you know that, how much would you pay for it? $125,000 is what you'll need to spend to acquire this pretty solid piece of iron, ready to spray those dusty mine roads again. So would you take this old Caterpillar water truck over something more recent? Let me know in the comments down below. You probably don't know it, but this is the best 400-ton excavator in the world. Introduced to the market in 2011, the Liebherr 9400s become one of the most successful 400-ton mining excavators in the world, and this machine is set to become even more successful, cementing its place in the mining industry for many years to come. Rated at 1,810 horsepower and weighing 345 metric tons, the 9400 will soon become one of the most sold 400-ton excavators in the world after Australian miner Fortescue recently placed an order for 55 units. Still sporting the older Liebherr design, the 9400 can actually be retrofitted, meaning the manufacturer now has the ability to turn an older diesel model into an electric drive machine, making it a 9400E unit, as displayed at Bauma this year. Able to move up to 24 cubic meters of material, the Liebherr 9400 was originally designed with a lifespan of 60,000 hours, a number far exceeded by countless units out there. So who operates one of these? Let me know in the comments. You won't look at Deere machines the same way after watching this. Did you know that until 2021, John Deere excavators were actually manufactured by Hitachi? The deal started in 1988 and ended 33 years later, marking the end of the joint venture. Deere now produces its own excavators. Did you know that German-Swiss manufacturer Liebherr used to manufacture Deere's largest bulldozers and crawler loaders from 2000? 4 years later, John Deere gained exclusivity in North America for the 950C and the 1050C models. Did you know that between 1988 and 2013, Deere articulated dump trucks were actually produced by South African manufacturer Bell? In return, Bell distributed Bell-branded, John Deere designed and manufactured products in South Africa. Did you know that John Deere has been in a close partnership with Japanese manufacturer Yanmar since the 1970s? As a matter of fact, in the early days of the joint venture, John Deere tractors rolled down the exact same production line as other Yanmar models. So why does Komatsu get so much hate all the time? Have you ever noticed that whenever a Komatsu machine gets posted, the comments section fills up with people bashing the brand? But why is that? How does the world's second largest equipment manufacturer attract so much criticism all the time? Well, let's answer. Well, if you're a cat guy, a Liebherr fan, or loyal to any other brand, you're probably not going to have many good things to say about Komatsu. Nothing wrong with that, just the usual brand bias. But when it comes to the Japanese manufacturer, criticism runs deeper than that. Komatsu may still be dealing with the lingering effects of its older reputation, especially when it comes to operator comfort. For years, Komatsu excavators lacked simple creature comforts, like a cup holder in the cab. Small detail to many, but a lasting mark on a brand's image. Some will argue that Komatsu machines don't last as long as other brands, while others criticize their resale value or the service network in certain regions. But one thing's for sure, you don't become the world's second largest equipment manufacturer by only selling junk. So how much fuel do you think a truck like this consumes in a single day? This is the Liebherr T284, one of the biggest trucks in the world, able to haul up to 375 metric tons of material. Pure engineering marvel, the giant truck also comes with staggering numbers when it comes to fuel consumption. Rated between 3,600 and 4,000 horsepower depending on engine options, the massive Liebherr hauler comes equipped with a 1,414-gallon fuel tank, the equivalent of 5,300 liters. So how long does it take to empty it all? On average, the Liebherr T284 consumes 40 gallons of fuel per hour under light loads. At full capacity, fuel consumption increases to 66 gallons per hour, giving the truck a maximum operating time of less than 24 hours on a full tank. With a current wholesale diesel price of $2.39 per gallon in the US, the truck costs approximately $3,400 per day in fuel alone. Over the course of a year, that adds up to $1.2 million in diesel expenses. So I was driving and I spotted these legendary pieces of iron. So a few weeks ago, I was driving through the beautiful Bristol, Tennessee when I spotted 3 machines sitting on a lot, including this old lady, a Komatsu PC 750. And to say this excavator has been through a lot would be quite an understatement. Originally released in 1996, the Komatsu PC 750 weighs around 80 tons and is powered by an in-house engine rated at 444 horsepower. The machine can be equipped with a 5.5 cubic yard bucket, but there's more. The star of the lot is without a doubt this stunning Caterpillar D9R bulldozer, also unveiled in 1996 by the American manufacturer and part of the glorious R series, still remembered by many as one of the greatest lines of machines ever produced. And to complete the throwback to the 1990s, how about a sublime 345B excavator? Parked just a few yards from the dozer, this machine, in my opinion, boasts one of the best designs ever seen on a Caterpillar excavator. Welcome to Bristol. Is Furukawa slowly becoming the new Atlas Copco? Clearly not as well known as Atlas Copco in the United States, Furukawa is a pure staple in Japan, with the brand producing all sorts of drilling equipment for mining and quarry operations since 1875, almost 150 years ago. Known as FRD, standing for Furukawa Rock Drill Company, Furukawa commands approximately 40% of the Japanese market for hydraulic breakers and leads with a 65% share in the Japanese market for hydraulic crawler drills. Furukawa is also recognized as one of the top 3 manufacturers worldwide in the drill jumbo segment, a position supported by the company's substantial domestic market shares and a strong international presence in the underground mining industry. With growing recognition beyond Japan, Furukawa is poised to become an even more prominent force in the rock drill industry in the next few years. So don't be surprised if these gray and blue machines become increasingly common in construction, quarry, and mining operations worldwide. You have no idea how pivotal this machine is in the history of mining. In the late 1960s, manufacturer Powerplants released the EC1000, a 150-ton excavator equipped with a 10 cubic yard bucket. While this doesn't sound that impressive today, this was enough to break records as we approach the 70s. The 1000 wasn't just a powerhouse of hydraulics, it was a direct challenge to cable excavator manufacturers. Their fears proved well-founded, as by the end of the decade, hydraulic excavators had almost eliminated cable-driven models from the market. While the EC1000 was a commercial flop, Powerplants remained confident in the future of large hydraulic excavators and developed the 170-ton M1, a more reliable 900 horsepower machine produced from 1975 to 1980. Powerplants upgraded the excavator to the M2 version the same year, this time powered by 2 Cummins engines developing a total of over 1,000 horsepower. The 1000 project was abandoned in 1986 after a total of 58 units were produced. So I was here, and I saw this. If you love heavy machinery, you definitely know the thrill of spotting a boom from 1,000 miles away, don't you? So when I spotted this rare yellow dragline from the highway, I had to find the next exit, turn around, and get all my stuff to film it. What you see here is a 2006 Liebherr HS 845 originally built in Austria. Obviously not exactly competing with Big Muskie, this dragline sitting on tracks is powered by a Liebherr diesel engine rated at 476 horsepower. Operating in a quarry in northeastern France and enjoying a well-deserved holiday break, this dragline is equipped with a brand new 3.5 cubic yard bucket, the equivalent of 2.7 cubic meters. Weighing approximately 75 tons with a 20-ton counterweight, the Liebherr HS 845 can be equipped with an 85-foot boom in dragline configuration. The machine can easily be turned into a crawler crane thanks to a clever modular design. It only took one Caterpillar dozer to push this 40-foot blade. In the late 1970s, Balderson out of Wamego, Kansas was commissioned to build insane heavy-duty dozing attachments for Caterpillar bulldozers, such as the legendary 48-foot Double Dude previously covered on the channel, and the much more maneuverable Big Dude. Just like the Double Dude, the Big Dude was mainly designed for spoil pile reclamation in coal mines. Using a concept known as the Uniflow, the gigantic Balderson blade was exclusively used by contractor Russell & Sons, in business since 1944. The 40-foot Big Dude, labeled as Balderson Reclamation Angeling Plow, was mounted on a Caterpillar D9G rated at 385 horsepower. But just like the Double Dude, the Big Dude would soon face the same destiny as its big brother. Hit by new regulations in the mining industry, the Dudes, also known to be extremely difficult to maneuver, were retired at a very early stage. One of the blades, not sure which one, sat in Russell's yard in Longview, Texas for many years. So how much would you pay for the biggest bulldozer in the world? First released in 1989, the Komatsu D575 was discontinued in 2013 after a little more than 100 units were produced. So, how much would you be willing to spend to own one of the last remaining examples of the world's largest dozer? Available on the market for about a year, this 2007 model, 1 out of 4 units owned by seller Bruce Equipment in Spartanburg, South Carolina, is waiting for you. But if you expect a dozer in ultra mint condition, you may be disappointed. This specific unit has accumulated 26,151 frame hours and faces the common undercarriage issues known to plague the giant Komatsu dozer, including wear on the tracks, rollers, and sprockets. So, how much are they really asking for it? How about $875,000 US? That's the price asked by Bruce Equipment for a single unit, but I'm sure you could negotiate a deal if you're interested in buying all 4. So what do you think of that price? Is it fair or totally out of touch with reality? If you like draglines, you should definitely watch this. Recently unveiled by MTech in the Netherlands, the 2100E is a beast of a dragline. The machine is driven by 2 800 horsepower Caterpillar C18 generators, delivering over 1 megawatt of power. The first unit has just entered service in Florida. With an operating weight of 1.6 million pounds or 800 tons, the MTech 2100E is equipped with a 180-foot boom pinned at 40 degrees. The dragline's counterweight alone weighs 74 short tons or 67 metric tons. With a second unit currently under construction, the MTech 2100E features a 21-yard bucket, the equivalent of 16 cubic meters. The machine comes with an estimated fuel consumption of 240 gallons per 12-hour shift. Built and engineered by MTech Netherlands, the 2100E dragline is a fully electric, frequency-driven machine with power distributed for swing, boom, hoist, drag, and travel functions. So what do you guys think of this pretty-looking piece of iron? Did you know that the Caterpillar 6090 FS had a fuel tank that contained 16,400 liters, the equivalent of 4,330 gallons? Now discontinued, the machine still remains the largest hydraulic shovel ever produced to this day. Did you know that the 6090 FS, formerly known as the RH400, came with a hydraulic system that required a staggering 13,000 liters or 3,450 gallons of oil? That's 86 150-liter oil drums, like this one. Did you know that the Caterpillar 6090 was powered by 2 Cummins QSK 60 engines that developed a total of 4,500 horsepower or 3,350 kilowatts? The same engines powering the giant Liebherr 9800. Did you know that the machine was originally designed exclusively for Canada's oil sands operations? The RH400 project indeed began as a request from Syncrude, which needed larger and more powerful machines to meet its growing demands back in the 90s. Did you know that the biggest truck in the world is not a Caterpillar, but is in fact the Belaz 75710? Manufactured in Belarus, the immense mining machine is powered by 2 MTU diesel engines rated at 2,300 horsepower each. With a payload capacity of 450 tons and speeds up to 40 miles per hour, the 75710 has been in production since 2013 and sells for well above $5 million US, even though no units have been delivered in America yet. Did you know that, back in 2011, Wyoming company Westech manufactured the world's biggest coal hauler nicknamed Goliath? Mounted on a Liebherr truck, the bed can carry an astonishing 447 tons of coal in a single load. Did you also know that it takes approximately 144 tons of coal to produce the steel needed to build a Caterpillar 797? The giant mining truck is made of about 240 tons of steel accounting for around 85% of the truck's weight. So the biggest excavator in the world is here. I got news for you. Hashtag Future of Mining. That's how Canadian dealer SMS Equipment recently defined the new Komatsu PC 9000 hydraulic shovel through a video post on Facebook. The machine is set to become one of the biggest excavators in the world, if not the biggest. Komatsu's mining division also confirmed the news with a video showcasing the transportation of the PC 9000 components from its Düsseldorf factory in Germany to the Canadian oil sands, where the machine is set to begin operations soon. But what do we know about it? While Komatsu and its dealers have yet to release official specifications, it's clear that the 9000 was likely designed to be the world's largest hydraulic shovel, potentially rivaling the old RH400/6090 in terms of size and capacity. As mentioned by Komatsu last year, the PC 9000 is optimized to suit the brand's 830E through 980E mining truck sizes, improving cycle times and lowering the overall cost per ton of material moved. Exciting times for mining. So what do you guys think of this brand new Volvo articulated truck? Made for the wild. That's how Volvo describes the brand new A50, announced a couple of days ago. Unveiled just a few weeks away from Bauma trade fair in Germany, the new articulated dump truck is a one-of-a-kind piece of iron. You already guessed it, the A50 comes with a payload capacity of 50 short tons. It now fills the gap between the new A45 and Volvo's largest offering in the articulated dump truck segment, the A60H. But what's so special about this new 50 model? The A50 features a fully hydraulic suspension, a concept Volvo has perfected, making it the only articulated hauler to use this technology. Additionally, it introduces an entirely new class of machine to the Volvo ADT lineup. Rated at 516 horsepower through a trusty D16J engine, the Volvo A50 comes with all the onboard technology you can think of and is said to deliver unbeatable off-road performance. So what do you think of this new puppy? Any opinion yet? So you want to start a career as an operator in mining? Here are a few things you need to know. If you're new to the mining industry, don't expect to start out on a big shovel or dragline. Those spots usually go to seasoned operators. More likely, your first gig will be driving a haul truck. Just a heads up, it can get boring real fast. No matter what your first machine is, don't get too attached. Unlike construction, where a machine can become your machine for years, in mining, you'll be shuffled from one unit to another, no matter how much you bond with that specific first piece of iron. As a new operator in the mining industry, forget about the good old 9 to 5. Instead, get ready for a 12-hour shift with very few downtimes, especially at large surface and underground operations. Long shifts are designed to maximize equipment utilization and minimize crew changes. In most cases, your job depends heavily on the market price of whatever you're mining. In many regions, job security is shaky at best. It's not uncommon to show up for work on a Monday, only to be told that the entire project is shutting down indefinitely. Is this how mining trucks are going to look like in the near future? Mining trucks have been around since the dawn of mechanized industry. Now, with rapid advances in electrification and autonomous technology, these essential machines could be on the verge of a dramatic transformation. Here's why. Recently unveiled by German manufacturer Liebherr, a new type of mining haulage solution is in development, featuring zero emissions, autonomous operation, a zero-turn radius, and the versatility to serve not only in mining, but also in global construction projects. Named the S1 Vision, this futuristic truck features a single axle with a self-leveling or self-balancing system, enabling it to haul loads ranging from as little as 250 kilograms to as much as 145 tons, even across the most uneven terrain. With the ability to turn on the spot, the S1 Vision offers more efficient transport, minimizing the need for oversized hauling equipment. Fully electric, it has the potential to redefine the future of haulage solutions. So does this look like the future to you? So what's the impact of Trump's tariffs on mining so far? Viewed as a threat to the economy or as a great opportunity, Donald Trump's recent tariffs have been imposed on multiple countries over the past few weeks. But what do they mean for the mining industry as of March 2025? Let's see. 25% tariffs on copper imports has led to a surge in domestic prices. This increase benefits US-based copper producers like Freeport, whose stock has been upgraded due to anticipated higher profitability from elevated domestic prices. Internationally, the tariffs have contributed to economic uncertainties. Australia, for example, faces challenges due to slipping commodity prices and trade tensions, particularly concerning iron ore and coal exports. These developments raise concerns about potential budget deficits in the coming years. All of this happens as the United States currently imports about 70% of its aluminum, with 60% coming from Canada. So what do you think happens next for the US and the world in general? Let me know. How much do they want for these machines, you think? Just guess. This is a 2005 Komatsu PC220 with a long reach attachment and totaling 10,211 hours. Sold by Ritchie Equipment from Bluefield, West Virginia, the machine is up for sale for $77,500 US. JJ Shekel out of Iowa is currently selling a 2012 Caterpillar D11T in fantastic condition, totaling about 9,000 hours since a previous 2018 rebuild. The price for this dozer? $1,350,000. This is an old goodie, a Volvo A35C articulated dump truck also sold by Ritchie Equipment in West Virginia and totaling 16,690 hours. You're going to need to spend $72,500 if you want to buy it. This is a Caterpillar 390FL excavator with 3,700 hours, including 1,000 idle hours. Sold by well-trusted dealer JJ Shekel once again, this 200,000-pound machine goes for $788,000. So what's the most sold motor grader in 2024? Last year wasn't the best year for used motor graders, as 1,257 units were sold in the United States compared to almost 1,400 in 2023. In 2024, 54 Cat 140H graders sold and 43 140M models were acquired through pre-owned market. The Deere 772G led used model sales with 104 units, in front of Cat's 140M3 with 81 machines financed, and Deere's 672G taking the third spot. When it comes to brand new graders, John Deere's 772G and the 672G rank number 5 and 4 with 81 and 86 units ordered respectively. Third is the Cat 140 AWD with a total of 96 machines financed. The 150 AWD is the second most sold motor grader in America with 109 units ordered, right behind the 140 model, dominating sales with 134 machines financed, as reported by equipmentworld.com. It only takes a 3-hour car ride and 170 miles to go from the Morenci mine to the Ray Copper Mine, located near the town of Kearney, Arizona. Owned by Asarco, a subsidiary of Grupo Mexico, the mine first opened in 1880. Asarco's Ray Mining Complex is an integrated copper mining, milling, and smelting operation with an annual production well over 100,000 tons. The mine has one of the largest copper reserves in the United States, with proven and probable reserves of over 750 million tons. About 3 miles wide, 7 miles long, and as deep as 2,400 feet, Asarco's Ray Mine, previous property of Kennecott Copper until 1986, is one of Arizona's most emblematic mining staples. The Ray complex covers 53,000 acres and employs over 1,400 people. Ray is ranked as the second largest copper mine in Arizona, a state that produces over 60% of the nation's mined copper. As of today, Asarco's giant mine is officially expected to run until 2044. So who visited the famous Lavender Pit in Arizona? The Lavender Pit is a legendary historical site located in Bisbee, Arizona. Known for its role in copper mining, this open-pit mine began production in 1950, but ceased operations in 1974 due to a severe downturn in the copper market. The legendary Lavender Pit was part of a broader copper mining operation by Phelps Dodge. It produced about 86 million tons of low-grade copper ore, yielding approximately 600,000 tons of copper, along with gold and silver as byproducts. Approximately 950 feet deep and covering 300 acres, the Lavender Pit was also a source of Bisbee blue turquoise, highly valued in the gemstone market. The water within the pit has a peculiar color from sulfide minerals due to acid mine drainage. During production, the Lavender Pit was mined in 50-foot benches. Over the past few decades, it's become a notable historical tourist attraction. With significant copper reserves still present, the possibility of mining operations resuming in the future can't be ruled out. Some of you guys really need to stop calling these tar sands, all right? Canada's oil sands are one of the largest reserves of crude oil in the world. Primarily located in the province of Alberta, the oil sands represent 97% of the country's oil reserves, currently estimated at 170 billion barrels. Oil sands, a mixture of bitumen, sand, clay, and water, produce about 3.5 million barrels of oil per day, with mining primarily focused in 3 major deposits: Athabasca, Cold Lake, and Peace River, generating thousands of jobs. Canada's oil sands utilize the most advanced technologies when it comes to carbon capture and land reclamation. About 20% is mined through surface mining methods, while 80% comes from deeper underground using in-situ mining techniques. Often misnamed tar sands, Canada's oil sands are so vast they could potentially meet the country's energy needs for hundreds of years. While the US also has oil sands, they're smaller and generally less economical to develop than Canada's. Welcome to Ekati, Canada's first surface and underground diamond mine. The Ekati diamond mine is located in the Lac de Gras region of the Northwest Territories of Canada, approximately 300 kilometers northeast of Yellowknife. Operations officially began in 1998 with exploration programs dating back to 1981. Owned and operated by Burgundy Diamond Mines, the Ekati complex comprises two active mining operations, the Sable open pit and the Misery underground mine. Mining activities are conducted year-round despite subarctic weather conditions. Known as Canada's first surface and underground diamond mine, Ekati consists of 122 mining leases totaling about 113,000 hectares. The mine produces up to 7.5 million carats of diamonds annually. With ore reserves totaling 15.8 million carats, the Ekati mining complex is projected to operate until 2028. But a conceptual mine plan developed by Burgundy Diamond Mines suggests its lifespan could potentially be extended to 2040. Welcome to Goonyella Riverside, one of Australia's most significant coal mines. Opened in 1971, the Goonyella mine merged in 1989 with the adjoining Riverside operation, first opened in 1982. Located in Queensland's Bowen Basin, the complex is owned by BHP-Mitsubishi Alliance in a 50-50 joint venture. Producing on average between 14 and 18 million tons of high-quality metallurgical coal per year, Goonyella Riverside is Australia's third biggest coal mine by recoverable coal reserves, currently estimated at about 532 million tons. Targeting three distinct coal seams up to 8.5 meters in thickness, Australia's Goonyella Riverside mine employs conventional drill blast load haul mining techniques and has in recent years become a pioneering site for autonomous haulage solutions. Mined for export, the coal output of Goonyella Riverside, which employs an average of 600 workers, is transported by rail to BMA's own Hay Point coal terminal near the town of Mackay, as well as the Abbott Point coal terminal located near Bowen. So how's the mining industry actually doing in North Korea? Did you know that North Korea has a significant mining industry as the country is rich in mineral resources, including coal, copper, gold, zinc, magnesite, and rare earth elements? The country's ground is so rich it holds trillions of dollars worth of minerals. Due to international sanctions, North Korea's primary trade partner is China, which imports coal, iron ore, and other minerals. Kim Jong-un's country is actually a leader in smuggling and unofficial trade through the nation's borders. As you can imagine, not a whole lot of informations are made public when it comes to North Korea's mining industry. However, it's been reported in the past that the country's mines use outdated Soviet-era equipment, leading to inefficiency and insanely low productivity. North Korea's mining industry also suffers from frequent power shortages and poor transportation infrastructure, which further limit production. It's been also reported that North Korea's mineral industry is a key actor in supporting the country's military budget. So who had a chance to see this insane mine in person? This is the Chino mine, also called the Santa Rita mine or Santa Rita del Cobre. Giant open-pit copper mining complex owned by Freeport-McMoRan, the Chino operation is located about 15 miles east of Silver City in Grant County, New Mexico. Originally opened in 1910, Chino was one of the first mines to utilize open-pit mining and concentrating. Largest porphyry copper deposit in the state, the Chino pit is currently 1.75 miles across and close to 1,400 feet deep. Running with a workforce between 600 and 1,000, the Chino mine produces on average 175 million pounds of copper per annum using conventional open-pit mining method involving drill, blast, and load and haul techniques. With over 2,200 acres already reclaimed, the future of the Chino mine hinges entirely on economic conditions, such as copper prices. As of 2025, no definite closing date has been set. So who had a chance to see this insane mine in person? Share your experience in the comments. Welcome to North Antelope Rochelle, the biggest coal mine in the world. The North Antelope Rochelle mine is a giant coal mining operation located in Campbell County, Wyoming, approximately 65 miles south of Gillette. The mine opened in 1999 after the merger of the North Antelope mine and the adjacent Rochelle operation. Owned and operated by Peabody, the North Antelope Rochelle mine is known as the biggest coal mine in the world. In 2023, the American operation generated 62 million tons of thermal coal with an average grade of 8,800 British thermal units per pound. Absolute staple in U.S. coal mining, the North Antelope Rochelle mine sits on 1.4 billion tons of proven and probable reserves, not including potential expansions. The operation runs 24/7 with an average of 1,200 employees. Fueling numerous power plants across more than 30 states in America, North Antelope Rochelle's high-quality coal is transported via BNSF and Union Pacific Railway networks. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is an operation that keeps millions of lights on. This is the story of one of the biggest failed mining projects ever. The Pascua-Lama project was first proposed in the 1990s as one of the highest altitude mining complexes ever attempted. The mine was supposed to extract gold, silver, and copper from the Chile-Argentina border region, where deposits were exceptionally rich. Sitting 17,000 feet above sea level and developed by mining giant Barrick Gold, the Pascua-Lama mine was a highly controversial project that originally required to remove 3 glaciers to access the ore. And that's how problems really began. Despite the challenges, construction officially started in 2009, with an expected completion in 2013. However, it wouldn't take long for a Chilean court to suspend construction due to environmental damage. In 2018, Chile's environmental authority revoked the permit, and 2 years later, Barrick Gold officially abandoned the Pascua-Lama project. Originally budgeted at $3 billion, costs eventually ballooned to $8.5 billion before construction was halted. Welcome to one of the largest mines in the United States. The Morenci mine is a giant copper operation located near Morenci, Arizona. Owned by Freeport-McMoRan and opened in 1872 as an underground mine, the complex represents one of the largest copper reserves in the United States and in the world. Sitting on reserves estimated at 3.2 billion tons of ore grading 0.16% copper, the Morenci mine covers close to 62,000 acres. The pit is approximately 3.4 miles wide from east to west and 4.6 miles long from north to south. The final pit depth is expected to be about 4,500 feet, ranging from 1,800 feet to 6,300 feet above sea level. Morenci's massive extraction fleet includes 146 trucks, 16 blast hole drills, 13 electric rope shovels, and 6 front-end loaders, as well as motor graders, backhoes, and water trucks. Employing up to 3,300 workers during peak production, the Morenci mine is expected to run for the next 20 years to come. This is Prominent Hill, home to some of the finest copper mined on Earth. The Prominent Hill mine is a massive copper operation first opened in 2009. Owned by BHP since 2023, Prominent Hill consists of 3 pits, including the Malu open pit, Malu underground, as well as the Ankata underground operation. Located in South Australia, the Prominent Hill mine produces one of the highest grades of copper concentrate in the world at an average rate of 4.5 million tons of ore per year. Mining activities are currently principally underground. Undergoing an expansion project designed by BHP to increase production by a third, Prominent Hill employs over 1,000 people year-round, including contractors. Based on current ore reserve estimates, the mine is expected to operate until 2044. Also a great source of gold and silver, Prominent Hill, which plays a key role in the local economy by providing significant employment, is expected to produce about 54,000 tons of copper and about 108,000 ounces of gold per annum post-expansion. This is the world's largest talc quarry, and something about it will surprise you. The Tremoun's quarry is located near the little town of Luzenac in southern France. Opened in 1905 and known as the world's largest open-pit talc quarry, the operation is situated at an altitude of approximately 1,800 meters above sea level. Owned by Imerys since 2011, the talc quarry only operates from April to November and completely shuts down during the winter due to its high elevation. To obtain 1 ton of usable talc, approximately 10 tons of overburdened material must be removed. On average, the world's largest talc quarry produces around 360,000 tons of the mineral annually, contributing approximately 5% of the global talc demand. The operation employs right around 200 employees during the season peak. Amazingly, the talc is transported from the quarry to the processing plant in the valley using aerial tramway buckets, completing 40-minute round trips between the 2 sites. With ample reserves, the operation is expected to continue for at least another 40 years. Listen to these crazy facts about the world's largest copper mine. Owned by BHP, the Escondida mine sits in Chile's Atacama Desert, the driest non-polar desert on Earth, with less than 1 millimeter of annual rainfall. These extreme conditions lead to intense heat during the day and frigid temperatures at night. The gigantic Escondida mine accounts for approximately 5% of the world's total copper production, with an average of 1.1 million metric tons being generated every year. The operation represents around 20% of the country's total exports. The Escondida mine consumes more water than a city with a population of 400,000. To address water scarcity in the region, one of the largest desalination plants in the world was built in 2017 to process 2,500 liters of water per second. Employing over 10,000 people directly and indirectly, the stunning Escondida operation spans an area of over 17,000 hectares, roughly 42,000 acres, making it one of the largest mining complexes in the world. So would you work there? Let me know in the comments. What do you think about if I say Caterpillar 6NZ diesel engine? If you never heard about it, 6NZ refers to the first 3 digits of a Caterpillar engine's serial number. These are related to which generation the engine belongs. In this case, we're talking about early, pre-emissions C15 diesel engines. The first 6 NZ units were officially produced from 1998, and, as it ain't no secret, the C15 power plant was entirely based on the 3406E, known as a solid engine which needed some improvements for reliability and emissions as we approached the 2000s. Possibly one of the best single-turbo engines ever produced, and part of the 1 million mile club, the 6NZ reference is still a very popular choice for many fleets and owner-operators for its performance and reliability today. Rated at up to 625 horsepower, the Caterpillar 6NZ models were phased out after 2005, with a total production of 99,000 units. They were succeeded by the MBN series, which, to say the least, never earned the same reputation. Yeah, this engine burns up to 175 gallons of fuel per hour. In late 2011, Cummins launched the QSK95, a colossal 95-liter engine designed for long-hour, extreme-load applications in passenger and freight locomotives, various marine vessels, and ultra-class mining trucks. And the specs are just mind-blowing. Powering machines such as the Komatsu 980E, the QSK95 weighs 13.5 metric tons dry and generates up to 4,400 horsepower at 1,800 RPM and a peak torque rated at 13,000 foot-pounds. It takes 481 liters or 127 gallons of oil to lubricate this power plant, which requires 100 gallons of coolant. It cost Cummins $300 million to develop and start production of this engineering marvel. Running at full capacity, the Cummins QSK95 will burn up to 665 liters of fuel per hour, just about 175 gallons. More than 1,400 units of the QSK95 have been sold since its introduction, making it a gigantic market hit. Cummins or MTU engines for mining equipment? Let me know. Owned by Rolls-Royce, MTU Friedrichshafen has been powering a wide range of surface and underground mining equipment for many decades, and the German manufacturer is now seen as a leader in the industry. But are these engines better than Cummins? Some manufacturers, such as Liebherr, keep the debate alive as they often offer both Cummins and MTU options, as proven with one of the largest excavators in the world, the 9800, offered with 2 QSK60s or 2 MTU's 12V4000s. In 1995, Komatsu also made the choice to power their next big hit, the 930E, with an MTU power plant rated at 2,500 flywheel horsepower, despite an ongoing joint venture with Cummins since 1993. MTU manufactured right around 52,000 units of its popular 4000 series of engines, totaling more than 250 million hours of operation across the entire production. So, Cummins or MTU? Let me know in the comments. This is the history of one of the best engines ever made. The Caterpillar 3406 engine was released in 1973 and was designed to produce up to 425 horsepower. Pure success on the market, the engine was primarily used in heavy-duty trucks, construction equipment, and generators. In 1987, Caterpillar upgraded the power plant to the 3406B version, which is still seen by many as one of the best engines ever made. This version was capable of producing up to 525 horsepower and a torque of up to 1,800 pounds per foot. In 1993, the American manufacturer upgraded the power plant once again through the 3406C model, boosting the engine up to 625 horsepower and delivering an impressive torque up to 2,050 pounds per foot. Also released in 1993, the 3406E was Caterpillar's first fully electronic diesel engine, featuring advanced electronic control modules that optimize performance and fuel efficiency while reducing emissions. The reference disappeared in 2007. This is the story of the best Cummins engine ever manufactured. First designed in the late 1980s, the Cummins N14 diesel engine was sent into full production in 1991 as a replacement to the vastly popular Cummins 855 Big Cam produced between 1976 and 1985. Quite possibly the best Cummins engine ever produced, the N14 featured top-of-the-line engineering fundamentals paired with one of the first electronic control system. It was used in a wide range of applications, including trucks, buses, and construction equipment. Part of the 1 Million Mile Club, the N14 was designed with outputs ranging from 310 to 525 horsepower for the Select Plus models, capable to turn out 1,850 pound-feet of torque at 1,200 RPM. In 2001, the X Series replaced the N14 when emissions regulations passed by the EPA made the amazing piece of engineering pretty much obsolete. Gone but not forgotten, the Cummins N14 is by far one of the most reliable engines ever manufactured. This is the story of the diesel brand that falsified emissions data. The Hino Heavy Industry Company was founded in 1942 in Tokyo, Japan. Manufacturer of commercial vehicles and diesel engines, the company adopted the Hino Motors name in 1959 and quickly became a leader in the trucking and heavy equipment industry. In 1966, Hino and Toyota signed a partnership agreement forcing Hino to focus on truck and bus production alongside vehicle assembly under contract. By 2001, Toyota was in full control of Hino after reaching a 50.1% majority stake. In the mid-2000s, Kobelco began using Hino diesel engines to power its construction equipment, including the SK850, Kobelco's largest excavator ever. But things were about to change on that front because of one little regulatory issue. In March 2022, Hino Motors admitted to falsifying emissions data in its engines going back to at least 2016. Following the revelation, Hino, which has a market share of over 30% in Japan, suspended shipments of affected vehicles and diesel engines. This is the story of mining giant BHP. Originally known as Broken Hill Proprietary Company Limited, BHP was founded in 1885 in Broken Hill, Australia. Initially focused on silver and lead mining, BHP became, since the early 2000s, the world's largest mining company by market cap. In 1915, BHP entered the steel industry with a steelworks in Newcastle, New South Wales. After being involved in shipbuilding for the Navy in 1941, the company then teamed up with Esso and diversified into petroleum and natural gas. In 2001, history was made after the Australian giant merged with Billiton to form BHP Billiton, an alliance which allowed the firm to reshape and expand its mining portfolio and helped establishing BHP Billiton as a leading global mining entity. Following a rebranding to BHP Group in 2017, the company announced 4 years ago its plans to exit thermal coal mining, reflecting its shift towards more sustainable and future-facing commodities, which triggered the sale of coal assets to competitors, including Glencore. This is the story of the biggest Caterpillar dealer in Europe. The name Zeppelin is most famously associated with Ferdinand von Zeppelin, who pioneered rigid airships in the early 20th century. But after World War II, restrictions on Germany prevented the company from building airships, forcing it to pivot to new ventures. So, in 1954, Zeppelin entered the construction industry and became the exclusive distributor of Caterpillar equipment in Germany. This marked the beginning of Zeppelin Bohrmaschinen, which quickly became a dominant player in the heavy equipment market. Over the decades, Zeppelin not only distributed Caterpillar machines, but also developed its own modifications to better suit European customers. The company expanded across Europe and into other industries, such as rental equipment, power systems, and logistics. As one of the world's largest Caterpillar dealers, Zeppelin employs up to 2,000 people and generates over $1.6 billion in annual revenue. So if you see a Cat machine in Germany or anywhere in Europe, there's a good chance it bears that iconic sticker. This is the story of Freeport-McMoRan. Freeport-McMoRan traces its origins back to 1912 with the formation of the Freeport Sulphur Company. The firm initially focused on sulfur mining at Bryan Mound Salt Dome along the Gulf Coast of the United States and established the town of Freeport, Texas as a result. In the 50s, Freeport expanded into other mineral resources and ventured into oil through Freeport Oil Company. In 1967, Freeport Indonesia was established, leading to the development of the world-famous Grasberg gold and copper mine. In 1981, McMoRan Oil and Gas merged with Freeport Minerals to form Freeport-McMoRan. Diversifying through the 1990s, Freeport acquired mining giant Phelps Dodge in 2007, becoming the world's largest publicly traded copper producer. Generating close to $23 billion in revenue in 2023, the company, owner of some of the most impressive mining operations in the world, employs over 27,000 people. It's currently the world's fifth largest mining company by market capitalization. This is the story of mining giant Glencore. Glencore was originally founded in 1974 as Mark Rich & Co. AG, established in Switzerland by commodities trader Mark Rich. The company quickly grew, and in less than a decade, it became one of the world's largest traders of raw materials. Rich sold his majority stake in the company to a group of senior managers who, in 1993, rebranded it as Glencore. Under this new identity, Glencore diversified its operations and entered the mining sector through the acquisition of stakes in Xstrata. In the 2000s, Glencore continued to expand, moving into new commodities and geographic markets. The company became involved in oil production, coal mining, and agricultural products, making it one of the most diversified commodity traders in the world. With operations in 35 countries, Glencore employs approximately 150,000 people worldwide. In 2023, the company generated $218 billion in revenue, solidifying its position as the world's largest mining company. This is the story of Caterpillar dealer Hastings Deering. Currently known as one of the largest Caterpillar dealers in the world, Hastings Deering was founded in 1932 by Harold Hastings Deering in Queensland, Australia, first focusing on being the sole metropolitan distributor for the Ford Motor Company within the country. Realizing the potential for franchising, Deering acquired in 1947 his first Caterpillar agency before quickly expanding to Darwin in 1948, Papua New Guinea and the British Solomon Islands in 1949, and to Queensland in 1952. After its founder passed away in 1965, the company kept growing as it supplied a large amount of Caterpillar equipment to a booming mining sector, on top of providing engines and power systems to businesses in the agricultural, construction, or forestry industries. Purchased by Sime Darby Berhad in 1992, Hastings Deering currently operates 26 locations across Oceania. The prominent Caterpillar dealer employs approximately 2,700 workers and generates around $1.3 billion annually. This is the story of railway giant Norfolk Southern. Founded on June 1, 1982, Norfolk Southern emerged after the merger of Norfolk and Western Railway with the Southern Railway, combining the latter's extensive southeastern network with Norfolk and Western's stronghold in the Appalachian coalfields. Designed to become one of the largest rail systems in the United States, Norfolk Southern, headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia, expanded further in 1999 by acquiring a portion of Conrail, growing its impressive network to over 19,000 miles of track dedicated to freight transportation. With 3 self-operated terminals in Ohio and Virginia, Norfolk Southern owns 3,200 locomotives and 40,000 freight cars and employs close to 20,000 workers, making it one of the 5 biggest railroad operators in North America. Each year, Norfolk Southern Railway handles a volume of approximately 7 million carloads, moving a wide range of goods including coal, intermodal containers, automotive products, and chemicals. On average, the publicly traded company generates $12 billion in revenue. This is the story of the world's largest heavy equipment auctioneer. Canadian brothers Ken, John, and Dave Ritchie entered the auction business in 1958. Since day one, Ritchie Brothers maintained a strict policy of conducting unreserved auctions, which means there's no minimum bids and no reserve prices. Known as the largest heavy machinery auctioneer in the world, the company held its first auction outside Canada in 1970 in Beaverton, Oregon, and gradually expanded globally. By 2000, Ritchie Brothers had conducted 2,000 auctions. On auction day, the buyer sets the price, not the seller, as mobile equipment is driven over a ramp in front of the bidders so they can see and hear each machine in action while bidding. Every Ritchie Brothers auction is open to the public. A few weeks ago, Ritchie Brothers held its biggest Canadian auction ever over 5 days with more than 15,000 assets for sale, including 5,000 construction machines, 2,800 trucks and trailers, 800 pipeline equipment, and 350 agriculture assets. This is the story of the biggest motor grader ever built. In 1980, Italian entrepreneur Umberto Eco was commissioned by the Libyan government to build a custom crawler dozer and a gigantic motor grader so both machines could be used for a massive earth-moving project in Colonel Gaddafi's country. The super grader was equipped with a 700 horsepower engine at the front and a 1,000 horsepower rear-end power plant. The machine had an operating weight of 400,000 pounds, or 182 metric tons, making it the largest motor grader ever built. Running on 12 tires and carrying a 33-foot blade, the ACO Super Grader soon faced major political challenges as the United States imposed a trade embargo on Libya in 1986, and as a result, the ACO machines were never shipped to intended destination. While the superdozer was reportedly saved and stored in a private location, the ACO motor grader was eventually dismantled and sold for scrap after becoming a tourist attraction. Years later, in 2006, the ACO company disappeared after Umberto's death. This is the story of legendary mining contractor Thiess. Established in 1934 in Queensland, Australia, Thiess started as a small earth-moving business primarily focused on road construction and civil engineering projects. The company quickly gained a reputation for its expertise and reliability across the country. In the 40s, Thiess entered the mining sector, and the company's first major mining contract was with the Blair Athol coal mine in Queensland in 1948. This would mark the beginning of Thiess's transformation into a major player in the mining industry. After venturing into international markets in the 1960s and 1970s, Thiess was acquired by CSR Limited in 1983. It was later sold to Leighton Holdings in 1988, which significantly bolstered its mining capabilities for the 1990s Australian mining boom. Currently celebrating its 90th year in business, Thiess employs over 12,000 workers and operates across multiple continents as it runs significant iron ore, gold, or coal projects in Australia, Asia, Africa, and the Americas. This is the story of the biggest construction trade show in the world. Bauma started in 1954 as a small construction equipment exhibition in Munich. Originally called Construction Machinery Exhibition Munich, the fair was initiated to support Germany's post-war reconstruction, showcasing equipment for building roads, homes, and infrastructure. By 1967, it was renamed Bauma and became a key event for the global construction industry. During the 1990s, Bauma evolved beyond construction to include mining and materials handling, reflecting the industry's diversification. The introduction of Bauma China in 2002 in Shanghai marked the start of Bauma's international expansion, followed by Bauma Africa in 2013 and Bauma India in 2011, a global networking hub where major deals are made. In recent editions, Bauma has shattered records, welcoming over 600,000 visitors from 200 countries and hosting 3,700 exhibitors across more than 600,000 square meters of exhibition space. So, who's heading to Bauma this April? So what was your favorite machine displayed at Bauma this year? So, what did you guys think of the Hitachi 890 showcased by the Japanese manufacturer? Not the biggest piece of iron at Bauma by any means, this machine was designed to compete with another shovel displayed by Zeppelin this year, the Caterpillar 395. The Liebherr 9400 was the centerpiece of the German giant's booth, showcased alongside the T264 mining truck. The pair was there to demonstrate Liebherr's commitment to innovation in electrification and decarbonization. In the history of Bauma, no excavator has ever loomed larger than the Komatsu PC 7000, the undisputed star of the show. Flanked by a WA 700 wheel loader and an HD 605 off-highway truck, it commanded attention from every angle. A favorite of yours? Now back to Caterpillar. The 992 was the American manufacturer's largest machine displayed this year and could be spotted with a 775 truck, plus a new version of the brand's legendary D8 dozer. So what's your final pick? Let me know in the comments. This is why Bauma isn't just about machines. Yesterday, Bauma, the biggest trade fair in the world, officially opened its doors. So when Liebherr offered me to come shoot the machines before the show opened, I said yes, but I had one last-minute request. Can my dad be part of this too? And Liebherr agreed. If you look at my dad, you'll see a typical retired blue-collar, spent his whole life working with wood, kept his head down, never really traveled or did anything out of the ordinary. A shy guy stuck in his comfort zone who always admired machines from afar, but never really had the chance to get up close or be around them the way he probably wished he could. So on Saturday, Dad and I took our first ever road trip to Munich, Germany. The guy who keeps a photo of young me in his phone case even got the chance to hop in the cab of the 9400. Funny thing is, the Liebherr staff probably had no idea how much they made my dad feel seen. For 48 hours, he felt like he mattered, especially when they offered him a shot at his very first digger, a 945, and I sure as hell was there to film it for posterity. But last night, we drove back together. Now Dad's back to his regular life, which he's probably happy about. Personally, I really wish it never ended. So if you go to Bauma this year, just remember, sometimes it's not just about the machines. Love you, Dad.